Aloha, everybody. We're here today at another episode of the Puna Lunch Club. We actually did have lunch today, though. Not how. But we're here with Kuulei. She's running for County Council, District 3. All right, Kuulei, thank you for coming. Mahalo nui. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, no, mahalo to you. Usually I don't start with I'm running for county council, but I mean, I'm really grateful to be here in Puna. I'm usually in Hilo. I'm from Panaeva. I was born and raised in Panaeva. And I come from a family of farmers and pastors and music people. I really mahalo Keaukaha for the kai that they hold, because those are my vahipana. So not only Panaeva I'm connected to, but Panaeva Keaukaha is home to me. So yeah, mahalo for having me here.
Yeah. So what does it mean to be in government in occupied Hawaii?
Yeah, occupied Hawaii, I think not a lot of people even know what that means. But there's a very valid truth that this is not America. Like Hawaii is not part of America. And that comes from actual policy and actual law. So I want to share two words with you that I love to share about. There's two words, de facto and de jure. De jure law is what the law is in actual paper. On paper, according to the paper trails, this is the law that is supposed to be enacted. De facto is factually what we're working with. Okay, so for example, de jure law is that it's illegal to steal. But in fact, politicians be stealing every day, and they don't get arrested for that. You know what I mean? In fact, other people steal all the time, and because they don't get caught and there's no accountability, they get away with it. So de jure and de facto, both are really, really important things to understand. And when we're looking at occupied Hawaii, Hawaii is illegally occupied by the United States government since 1893. And that is de jure, like according to the actual paper trail. And if you don't know how to follow the paper trail, it makes sense as to why that understanding is not clear. But in fact, we're here, and we have a police force, and we have welfare systems, and we have fire systems and police systems, and we have all kinds of systems that are under the United States government. So when we're looking at being in occupied Hawaii at all, that's something that I hope people can learn a little bit more about, because I think somebody says occupied Hawaii and they're like, oh, nut job. You know what I'm saying? They're just discredited immediately. But there's there's value and validity to that a lot of politicians don't want to address or provide education about. But anyway, when we're looking at the question, which is what does it mean to be in government in occupied Hawaii, there's that component on occupied Hawaii. And then there's the point about what it means to be in government. I was a non-voter for a long time. One time I got one jury duty notice, and I wrote a letter back, and I was like, unless you can provide the Treaty of Annexation, I ain't coming to your jury. And I never heard back from them, and I was not yet arrested. So very thankful for that experience. But being in government, being engaged in government, running for political candidacy means accepting and acknowledging that it's not functional not to engage. Some people are not in that position yet. They've not yet accepted that it's not functional, or like they really believe that they don't have a function in American government. And I support that. And I'm not pushing for non-voters to vote if they're clear about why they're not voting. But being in government in occupied Hawaii also means that it's necessary to acknowledge the opportunity and also the consequence of inaction. If we just say, this is occupied Hawaii, I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to get involved politically, people are going to run us into the ground and we're not going to have anything to say about it. And so being in government in occupied Hawaii means just that. It means being intelligent about the actual, both de facto and de jure context of where we're at. And it also means being informed about my own responsibility to address that and how to best position myself to make decisions that are healthy for Hawaii people. So mahalo for that question.
So basically you're saying like either participate or don't complain.
I don't know. I mahalo that thing that says no vote, no grumble. But I also believe that people have a right to grumble. Go ahead and grumble. Go ahead, and also holding space for you to ask yourself what you're doing about it.
Right.
So, for example, some people don't vote and they grumble and they maintain systems of ahupua'a and they feed their families and they feed their communities from the work of their two hands. I have nothing to say about that. Mahalo piha, and I'll see you at your farm when it's your Saturday work day. For real. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own positionality. And what I'm here to stand against is people who don't take any kind of position, and now we're stagnant and not getting involved at all. If you're not going to be in government, be in your soil. If you're not going to be in your soil, figure out a way to contribute, either to the wellness of yourself, to the wellness of your family, or the wellness of your larger community. There's 1,000 million ways.
But contribute.
But contribute some way, some shape, somehow,
I do. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Contribute.
To
the āina, do something.
Yeah, really. And it seems like a lot, but even something so small is something so big. It's better than nothing, so any contribution is supportive.
Plant a seed today and turn it into a tree tomorrow.
Exactly.
There we go.
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
So how do you navigate that? So if you get elected, how do you navigate that?
Navigate being in government.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people that I know don't want to address it. They don't want to talk about the illegal occupation. They're like, no, this is the American government and I'm an elected politician. There has to be a way that we're addressing that. Education, communication, all of those things have to be open and available for people to engage in. That has to be a question. I'm like, my papa said, nah, but for real, I have a for real papa, and he's radical, and he's not even like Hawaiian in his blood. He's not even a descendant of Hawaii people, and he's like, what are the county council people and the mayor gonna do for the Hawaiian people? For the illegal, this place is illegally occupied, and he's not wrong. And so when it comes to how I'm going to deal with that, it means having open conversations about the occupation of our place and how to work through that in all of the systems that exist, versus nut job, ignoring, next question, thank you for your testimony, goodbye. But I hope to do that even if I don't get elected.
Yeah.
It's what we gotta do, bro.
Well, tell us a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I said just right here. I said just my bottle. I said lunch clubbing right here.
We sing into this thing.
Said, oh, good lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
is this fine? Is this good? A little bit more. A little closer. Okay. I said just the kind.
You just in there. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just no mics.
No, just shouting.
Let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
So having been on the other side, submitting testimony and that for so many years, tell us about some of those experiences and how that has kind of influenced you to take on this role.
Yeah. Even while I was like, sorry, I don't qualify to be in your jury. I'm not American. This is not America. Even while I was doing that, I was listening to the aunties who was like, submit testimony to your county council people. Submit testimony to the Board of Regents. Submit testimony to the House. Submit testimony. There's people we're actually submitting testimony to. And if they're not going to listen to us, good luck, Chuck, because we ain't getting nowhere. So, and I've been in meetings where people show up in the hundreds, crying and weeping, citing mo'oku auhau of lineal descendancy to the place that's being considered for whatever development or whatever it is. Majority of the testimony is in opposition of a particular measure. And the council members and the board and whoever's accepting the testimony still votes to their desire. I'm really frustrated at that. And the only way that I can assure that won't happen is if I'm in the seat or if I'm doing the best I can to get there. And even along the way, it's my responsibility to educate people as much as possible as to what to do and how to find our voice again, So, yeah, mahalo for that question.
Mahalo. So, if you
I feel like I'm just like amping. I don't no pre-workout, nothing. I just here. You know what I mean?
So, if you were hired by a developer,
okay.
Let's say a developer hired you to sit on their board as kind of a cultural consultant. and these situations were to take place, what would your advice be?
Okay.
How do you think we best blend cultural integrity and identity and development at the same time?
Okay, I've actually been asked to sit on boards for development, like development companies, and I refuse to sit on the board. So that's one thing I would do, is maybe consider not taking the job. But if I
How does that best implement the desired change, though?
I can still lend mana'o but not be on the payroll.
Okay,
So like just naturally there's that truth. And not that I would recommend that for everybody, because some people need to be paid. You know, some people need to make a living for their ohana.
not so much from a financial standpoint. I'm saying more of a standpoint on how you would advise somebody, regardless of pay, how to navigate those situations, right? Where something is going to be developed, or what is the best way, the proper protocol to come into a space and develop. How do you blend, like I said, the cultural identity and integrity and the preservation with the development?
I think sometimes it depends on the development, but sometimes development is not appropriate at all. And people don't want to hear that. And they're going to say, I'm going to build this anyway. So if people are going to build that anyway, I'm assuming they're not going to take into consideration what I'm saying, especially if I'm saying this development as a whole is not appropriate. So I guess the question is, the question of, if they still are like, okay, we are going to develop no matter what you say, we're deciding it's appropriate. Is the question like, what would I do then? Or like,
the question is more so not so I feel like the development is going to be inevitable just because of population, right? So you're going to have development to accommodate population. The more people, the more houses, the more people, the more infrastructure. So if we don't have development and we have population increase, we'll be worse off almost. So the question is more so is, how do you appropriately develop from a cultural based perspective?
I think when we're looking at, I'm gonna hold it right there, because if we're looking at population increase, the reason that the population is increasing drastically these days is because there's no limits on how many people can come here and move here. And the population is increasing, not with Kanaka babies, not with local babies, randoms, deciding they want to be here. And there's no way to sustainably manage that. And so that's the first thing that I have to say about that question, is like, what are we doing to sustainably manage the difference between what our resources and current infrastructure can manage and the introduction of more people? So that's something that we should consider even before looking at development to accommodate the population growth. But if we're assuming that the population is naturally growing, ho'olulahui, people are abundantly making more keiki, I think infrastructure-wise, because there's development of the infrastructure that I think should be, it's not one cultural advisor should lead the how to culturally appropriately do this. Each community has their own hui of people that have been doing this work. It's maybe the cultural advisor's job to identify those people and figure out who these hui of practitioners, who these hui of multi-generational dwellers are, that can then lend the advice or lend to the council their mana'o on what is and is not appropriate for their specific community. Not one random Hawaiian like showing up malihini from Hilo to Puna like, okay, what's appropriate in Puna is XYZ. I have no idea. I'm not from Puna.
Right.
I'm not even from this Ahupua. Like, I have no idea about this place. So identifying place-based, not just one single Hawai'i, but place-based multi-generational dwellers of a specific area. That's really important. I'm not against development. I think development is necessary. I think the development of our local i'a is really important. The development of infrastructure to support agriculture, sustainable agriculture, oiwi, mahi'ai, ho'olu kalo, like all of these. It's important to have infrastructure that supports the development of the community, more than it is important to support the pockets of the developers. Like I think that's something that I really believe in.
That's great advice.
Yeah, I mean,
See?
just
So just that mana'o right there.
yeah, and I
is
feel like
valuable.
equitable developers will agree that that's important. Equitable, honest, integrity, like developers with integrity will agree that that's the best way.
Right.
You know, to take the leadership and the advice from the community, multi-generational dwellers. Yeah, I just get really heated. I feel like I'm shouting.
Why?
Are we okay? I don't know.
We're-
Is this
no,
the
we're
gain? How's the gain on this microphone? Is this shouting? You know?
We're good. But I think that's great advice is, that every place is different. It's its own separate situation, right? So you go and you go to the people in those sections and you get advice from them on what would be the appropriate and proper way to proceed.
Yeah, I think it's important for people, if any developers actually listening here, it's important that folks also do the initial research of what kinds of projects were proposed in that area, like before consulting any kind of community organization. Like do the research and figure out what already is not appropriate based on previous projects. You know, what already is important to that community, what existing materials are there that we can study and take advice from, and then seek the consultancy of the multi-generational dwellers of the area. Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good question, bro. I mahalo that. Yeah.
Mahalo for the Ike.
Oh, yeah.
So what is the difference between government and governance?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Kaui Kiauli, and when he said, Heau puni pala pala ko'u, like mine is a nation of literacy and of education. Hawaii people historically are so involved in our governance. Whether that was when we were part of the ali'i system, whether that was when we became a monarchy, whether that was when we were really fighting to maintain voices in the shift in our policies and politics in the 1800s, we've all been really civically engaged. I think over time, we confuse the two between being engaged in what happens with our policies and the actual government that is making the decisions. I think we're losing the interest to be involved in the higher bird's eye, makaiva type decisions because we're frustrated with the government. But there's still governance. So like government is the United States. Our government is like county council. We have county, we have state. That's government. But we can still discuss and be civically engaged with the general and concerned with what happens to the policies and procedures of our place. That's our responsibility. Like as Kanaka Maoli, we have to be concerned with what's happening in our natural environment, what's happening in our community, what things are affecting our ohana. But because of the disconnect between the United States government, we've recused ourselves entirely from those conversations. So governance is our ability to stay involved in some capacity with the higher up decisions on what's happening with our place. And government has to do with the state and the actual entity. You know, so to me, that's the difference between the two. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to, lastly, I don't think our historical frustration with the government should any longer interfere with our interest in being involved with our governance. Like that has to be, we have to get back into things and really care about what's going on, you know. Like mahalo.
How do you think we do that? How do we kind of up the gender morale and spread the education and intellect needed to partake in that system? How do we bring that back?
Yeah, I think so county council, like that I'm running for, that's only one part of the government. Governance wise, there's like existing community organizations of people who've been on these boards and in these areas trying to like make events for their keiki and like put together some kind of local, identify the natural resources in the community, connect each other to each other. Like there's existing programs. And when I go to those meetings, it's all kupuna. Like, where's your mo puna? Like, where's all the people we're making these events for? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, where's the parents? Like, what? And then the question is like, okay, well, is there food at these things? Is there childcare at these things so the people can attend? You know, so just that question about how to how to participate in governance is really just being open to attending these existing meetings. For some people, we're not going to the community meetings, no matter what you say. You know what I mean? Like they're not going, bro.
Right,
No way.
Right.
But they can identify a handful of friends that share the same values. That really, they're on the same page about what they feel like needs to be done. We need to take that away from the dinner table and up into the tables that really have the opportunity to make some actual movements based on what your Hui of friends believes. Like those are the kinds of conversations that I think need to happen. When it comes to upping the morale in Hawaii, because we're looking at, on the news these days, it's nuts. Like I just get email after email from the news station saying this auntie just passed away because brutally attacked by one Uber driver or something. You know? I don't know who's doing these things, but it's happening in our community. So how to up the general morale? I mean, there's not really one firm answer, but it has a lot to do with how we're carrying ourselves just on the daily. Me to you, you to me. How we're able to maintain respect for each other, even though we might disagree with what our general being okay. Like we just got to figure out how to be okay with ourselves, because when we're not, we don't have a value system. We do any kind, make like we're anybody when we're not just anybody. Hawaii people are so special, and like really remembering. I still spitting.
That's okay.
I still spitting and vai kai.
That's okay.
Wow.
No,
anyway.
This is not.
You know, according to the map I made.
This is Ke'au.
You're right.
To
we said across the street, that is vai kai.
That is vai kahe kahe nui. And that is just vai kahe kahe. No,
No. You're right. Yeah. You're right. So I shouldn't be bringing my vai from my mouth out of here. This is Ke'au.
It's the Puna Eva.
It's Puna Eva is coming out.
There we go.
But yeah, no, there's just a way for us to make sense of things in all the ways. It's not just one way of how to do things, you know. But yeah.
So I asked you earlier why you want to be a politician, and I think that's an important question.
Yeah. My initial response was, I don't want to be a politician. I'm not running for county council so I can be a politician. I'm running for county council because we need regular people in positions of power to make decisions about the policy. Because in my experience, politicians have the agency not to listen to the people. In my experience, politicians are there to make decisions based on what they believe is important. And that's why you'll see a lot of candidates talking about what their stance on certain things are, what they believe should happen in the community. For me, I'm like, I don't think the job of the county council person is to make decisions based on what they want. It's called county council representative because they represent the county council district. So I don't really want to be a politician. I want to be I am a community person, and there's a way to leverage that for the betterment of the people in my area. So that's that.
And so stepping up into this role is the best way you see to give the people a voice.
In this ala, in this pathway, for me today and now, yeah. I mean, previously, no. Previously, I was like, I ain't voting. This is not America. Ku'e a maulo aku. Like, there isn't anything you could do to get me to sign up.
And now we're going county council.
And county council, District 3, vote for me. You know what I mean? Like, and some people, it's like, oh, sell out. You know what I mean? But this year alone, I saw so many situations where hundreds and hundreds of people showed up to testify, and the leaders in the position of power never listened to not one testimony. They voted how they wanted anyway. Their personal interests was the motivation for their vote. And so I don't know how else to assure that that's not going to happen, except that if I'm on that seat and if I'm advised and take the counsel of the actual people in my district. I said just like TED talking, like yelling, shouting. But that's what I really feel. You know what I mean? I'm not just for the podcast for the sound bites. Like that's for real. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
I need some water, but I want to get this plastic water bottle, and I work for Zero Waste Hawaii Island, so I'm gonna get fired, bro. If this year I still using a plastic bottle.
You like me transfer from another plastic bottle into that?
I would just reuse this one.
Okay. You know. Making more out of less.
That's what I'm saying.
There
That's
we
max
go.
gains.
That's how you maximize the gains.
That's how you do it.
You just take less and you make more.
Yeah.
Like when you cannot squeeze a lemon anymore.
Eat the rind, bro.
There you go.
Nah, wet lemon, huh?
Bruh, squeeze us, press
Put
them
them
a
in a
little
jar,
harder.
put them on your roof. Because that is...
Sweat into the jar. Lemonade. Huh? All right. Well, while we on zero waste, tell us about your zero waste initiative.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We on the zero
We're
waste.
on the zero waste.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. Zero Waste Hawaii Island is partnering with the county of Hawaii and Perpetual to establish a reusable foodware system in Hilo. So that means when you go to the restaurant and you want to take your food to go, you have an opportunity to check out a reusable one and then return it to a bin nearby, and then an organization will come and pick up the bin, have it washed and returned, so there's no rubbish. I don't think people know that there's only one landfill on this entire island. So when we go dump our rubbish, whether that's, I don't know what you guys have, you have KL Transportation Station up here. We have one in Panaeva. Of course, they put the rubbish dump over there by the homestead. But all of these different transfer stations are where we dump our... I'm like, where does your rubbish go? People say, it goes down the chute. Remember, when I would take you to the dump.
To Kona.
It goes to Kona, bro. Every single day, everybody's rubbish in this entire island is trucked to Pu'uanahulu in Kona. And Pu'uanahulu is a really special place. Like, that was a paniolo, just hevahi no ka paniolo i ka whamamua. And now it's the dump site. And I just learned that even our wastewater, our literal, for real shit is processed. This guy's like,
What?
now we're here.
We're processing shit?
Bruh, no,
Talk to me.
the wastewater treatment. Sorry, I say conspiracy theories now. No, but for real, the wastewater treatment plant processes the sewage, and whatever remaining solids, bruh, is taken to Pu'uanahulu, along with our rubbish, our household trash. So Pu'uanahulu is home now to this super huge pit where our rubbish is deposited. So anyway, if there's anything we can do to make less rubbish, like, I don't know, not forget your water bottle when you come for the podcast.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
On a can with me right now.
You got to take that with you.
I gotta eat that. Nah.
When I'm going to have solids that get processed.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go to Pu'uanahulu.
No, man, I can. But for real, so the project is aimed at making less rubbish and making it so that all of our food consumption, the dishes that we use is reusable. That's one of our main focuses. But I think my role as the cultural advisor and outreach coordinator is to help people understand that waste management and using less and making less rubbish is something that we've been doing. We've been doing that. We've been using our butter container to the thing break and get chili inside. You know what I mean? We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
And so just aloha āina, taking care of our area, extends to the habits of what we do with our rubbish.
I know what you're talking about.
So.
Mara half saves every yogurt container.
Yes, Mabala, because
Bruh.
that is cereal bowls.
And you know what? Bruh.
Sorry. I still hiding behind this thing already.
The meanest is when the lids go missing. Get like 12,000 containers with no lids.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Hey, anytime you need.
I'll let you know because that's plates. That's plates, the lids.
Oh, yeah,
You know what
bro.
I'm saying?
Well, I'm all about the kind, Kuulei and that.
Yeah,
You know what I
āina,
mean? Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. You can take as much as you need. You know what I mean? So, how come you think there aren't very many easily accessible resources to support regular people in educating themselves about civic engagement? Where's the resources, the availability? How do people do that?
Yeah, I think there's a really big gap between the county council the culture of civic engagement and then where everybody lives. Because right now, everybody lives at home and a lot of people live on their phones, on social media. There's not a lot of resources that are dedicated to or formatted to serve the people who access their information on social media. You won't really be able to find a post about somebody talking about how to how to vote, why we vote, what is county council, there's no real information out there that's accessible other than on the county website, which people are probably not going to go to the county website, you know. So that's one thing. I think a lot of other people are also busy trying to raise their families, that they don't have a lot of time to be doing all that. And because it's not so accessible on social media, they're not going to ever hear about these things, you know. So I mean that's why.
Can people go to your social media to hear about them?
You know, right now on social media, we're building up because we've been farming. So you see like music stuff. You see like dirt, me shoveling soil from actually Puna Rock. Actually, I bought some.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're working on it. We're working on building that up. And so during my candidacy, people are like, when I get elected, if I get elected, whether or not I get elected, my brother, this is the Kuulei that I have, and we're going to be doing this. And so civic engagement is something that I'm passionate about. I have to work like 5 different jobs to get by in this life. But I'm thankful because I make time. I have to make time to educate people about what this is. Just because it's important to me.
What are your 5 jobs?
Oh, I gotta tell you about all the jobs. Nah, just kidding.
OnlyFans, huh?
Only cans.
Only cans. But you and OnlyFans, sister. Huh? One foot fetish one.
No.
One mukbang channel.
Wow, mukbang.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
So I make music, you know, I do music things. I'm a cultural advisor and outreach coordinator for Zero Waste Hawai'i Island. I work as a cultural advisor for Bridge House, and that's don't tell my other jobs, but that's my favorite job. Bridge House in Keohomauka, they're a drug treatment center. So my role has been to work with, I mean, people call them chronics, but they're just regular people going through it, bro, you know. But so we take to them the papa and the pohaku ku'i'ai. We teach them how to ku'ikalo, how to get back in touch with who we are as Kanaka, because a lot of people that is kind of going through substance use disorder right now is OEV people. We're indigenous people, so that's my favorite job. But those people are so awesome, and they're so awesome to work with, and they love it. They love to learn about Hawai'i. They're born and raised here, and they don't know a lot about the place. So that's another job that I have. And then I teach stuff on the side, like Hawaiian language and Mauliola courses, and I just do what we gotta do, you know, to get by. But thanks for asking. I don't know OnlyFans, but I don't more.
Well, mahalo anyway.
Mahalo anyway. That's okay. Yeah, I guess that's okay.
That's aight. Nah, that's good. Mahalo for that. All those contributions you have to the community.
Mahalo.
What are your stances on geothermal, PMAR, and the most recent co-development, TMT, etc.?
Yeah.
Just no develop, huh?
No, but that's not my stance. No way. I
sorry.
just adjusting.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
No, I really think that so I went through this process of really calculating how much. Now ask me about the number because I forget. But but honestly, from the research that I've done, it takes about 22 gallons of crude oil, which is like the oil that comes out of the ground, like just I mean, not like if you dig outside, but the unprocessed oil. I think it takes about 22 gallons of crude oil to make 11 gallons of diesel. I think that's what it is. So when we look at the oil that's harvested from the natural reserve of oil, that's not the oil we can put in our gas, make the electric, because we use oil in Hawai'i Island. I think Oahu, they might burn rubbish to make electric, but anyway, when we're talking about the geothermal, I recognize that oil is not the most sustainable way to generate power. Some people are talking about solar, but as a person who has solar power, that's not always reliable too, because you rely on the sun, and not always it's sunny in Hilo.
So like the past week, you've been low power.
Bruh, I still cold water shower. I still cold plunge, you know what I mean? No, for real. Hey, for real. Okay, so I get it. But I don't think that all of those factors put together just means that we can do whatever makes the most sense to one person. I think there needs to be open channels of communication and advisement and weighing in on what we should do. And from the experiences that I've had, some people are not down for geothermal and some people are. But I haven't been in a position to really facilitate some of those discussions. I want to say that I don't think geothermal is the best thing for our community, and I think there's a different way that we can figure that out. From what I understand, people are like, research doesn't say that, but I've read studies that say that the way that geothermal interacts with the surrounding environment is that it makes it more susceptible to seismic activity. And so potentially geothermal can put a lot of people and their lives and their properties that they work their life for at risk. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's worth, I think it's worth pursuing other ideas and other solutions for power.
Like what?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Oh, just candles, mabara. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have to figure it out. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I'm not in a position to do that right now. But it's a conversation that needs to be had. We have to find intelligent solutions forward that don't jeopardize the safety and well-being of the people. And I believe that that's possible. I don't know how, but I really believe that's possible. Related to the other, just every specific issue right now, I don't believe there are enough opportunities for people to share their mana'o beyond the 3 minutes that they're allowed at the county council meeting. I think I don't have any negative things to say about anybody who's been in the county council seat, but I think there are more dynamic ways to get people involved that will require us to feed them and provide keiki care at these things. That should be like just a natural thing. I hope and I wish that the county council people would be more involved in the actual community, but I recognize it's a big job. But if there are open streams of communication, not just come present your testimony to help me vote yes or no, but like, what are your mana'o about how we can make more power?
Can I share some?
Yeah. What are your mana'o about how we can, what's your mana'o?
No mana'o on how we can make more power.
Yeah.
But like, if you gonna provide food and babysitters, you gonna need one big facility.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's coming.
But I don't know. We provided babysitters and food, and not a lot of people came. So
what?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's kind of, people are not coming to the events all the time, and I think it's because there's no regularly occur. If it was me, I would be like, okay, last Friday of the month, there's this event.
When are the events?
I think it depends on your community. Like, I think Kilkaha's community board meetings are.
You telling me you can provide food and on babysitter?
No, not to those. But those have been offered at certain events, not recurring events. But
that's pretty much like my criteria for going to an event.
That's what I would think.
Yeah,
that's what I would think.
If there's food and one babysitter,
I'm there.
Bro, I'm there.
We flew out and I'm there. You know what I mean? No, but that's not a norm. That's not a normal thing. People expect you to provide your own and provide your own and provide your own, and that's why people don't come.
Right.
So we need to figure out how to make it a priority to malama folks so that they can be civically engaged, and that's not something that's happening right now. And I really believe that civic engagement in a good functional way will yield results to a lot of these issues beyond just yes or no to these things.
Yeah.
But
Kalamai for the interruption. So back to power.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you was gonna say.
Oh no! My solution was food and babysitters.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. To get people to the event,
right
brah.
now. That's my solution too.
Babysitters, it's brah. Can have all kind of intelligent conversations after that.
No, totally.
Yeah.
No, totally. When people are not worried about having basic needs met, at least for that one conversation, you know, it's a better deal, if you ask me.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, so that's just that on those issues.
Yeah. Mahalo.
Yeah, mahalo.
Let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
So how did that all start?
I grew up in the choir, in my church choir, and I just been singing from longer than I can. It wasn't always good, I'll tell you that right now, but I've been singing a long time, and we never really have cable, so it was a lot of songwriting, when I was younger.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, to be really involved with activism and really fighting for the preservation of specific places and the aloha of particular communities, that became the medium and the material that I use to make the music. So it's not like I write, because a lot of people right now, they're writing music about activism. But for me, the activation and the activism that I already am part of is the root reason for my music. So somebody told me, hey, if you run for county council, some people are not going to hire you like as a musician. They're not going to want to, they're going to blackball you from the market, and you're not going to be, tell them come. Blackball them, brah. Because for real, my music is not something that I've done to make a career for myself. My career is activation for the betterment of my community. My music is a byproduct. And the people who love my music, I think we're at like 60,000 followers right now on Instagram. And every one of them know, mahalo unfollow if you're not here for the reality of the situation, which is betterment for the community.
Right.
So I feel very grateful to have that agency to make my music make sense for my life, not the other way around, Yeah. But so far we're looking at Holo Holo Fest in Vegas on I think the 28th is my day. So we're opening for Kimie and then Fiji and then I think the Green and then Coming Kings on that day. And then we're at, and just shout out to Dan Sheehan for calling me up like, sis, come jam this thing. And then we have Holo Holo Sacramento coming up too. So I'm thankful to God for just blessing me with those opportunities. But that's my music.
Nice. Well, congratulations on your success there. Even though it is a opposite for you, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like it's like a not an outlet, but it's like it's fun. Like it's fun, and after fight to just have an opportunity, brah. My band, I'm so like elated and grateful for their skill and their talent, and they just show up and it's like, hey, whatever. You know what I mean? And they push me to really identify my music. Don't write music that people want to hear. People want to hear you, so write your own kind of music. So my band is really encouraging me to do that, and that's been really successful. Bro, I'm thankful.
That's super awesome.
I'm real thankful. Yeah.
So, where do you source your creativity and inspiration from?
Yeah, so, it's that activism that I was telling you about.
And so, how do you stay like inspired? Like, how do you constantly keep that level of motivation, commitment, inspiration, determination?
It's not a constant. It's not a constant. I mean, it's been a long time since I wrote. It's sporadic where I feel inspired, but it's not really the inspiration that keeps me committed and keeps me going. It's the concept of understanding my kuleana, and my kulana, not just my responsibility, but also my role, like my function in my community and in my family, to stay consistent in doing my best in whatever it is that I'm doing. So it's not really inspiration. I'm not always inspired, brah. It's rough out here. It's rough. And I also feel like everything is creative inspiration, and we're just not feeling it. We're not feeling inspired, but it doesn't mean the inspiration is not there. We just gotta tap in sometimes to the things that exist around us, like cloud patterns. Like we've been so calcified with screens that we forget how to be inspired by the shaking of a leaf. The shaking of a leaf, bro. That's what our kupuna wrote about. The kekapalili o kalau. Like one specific coconut tree with the coconut is a little bit off center. Those kinds of things are inspiration. Simple things like that. And we have to resensitize ourselves to really see that and feel that inspiration, connect to that. So it's a long process, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that.
We just don't pay enough attention to our
bro, we gotta
natural
get back.
environment.
Reconnect.
Yeah. So what do you farm?
Well, right now I've been just trying to figure out my work situation. So I've been working a lot, but my dad is the pig farmer, so we have pigs. And then my cousin Jay and Royden, they've been helping my dad, so I'm really thankful. But we have we have our ohana, our loina, or like we are multi-generational pig farmers. So we have pigs. I also not for commercial things, but to feed myself and to sustain myself. We're working on kalo, and we have ulu, and we have one noni tree, some new, so those are, but it's mostly subsistence for now, yeah.
I think everybody should have some sort of little farm.
I think so too, Brian.
You
don't need acres and acres, bro. 10 by 10.
Yeah,
you can do a lot with a 10 by 10.
You probably put like āina in there. You can't even eat them all. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Making what you said, making the best of what we have, or like using the little, because you said it how you said earlier. What you said?
What?
When you said with making the little to make a lot, or however you said.
Oh yeah, trying to use minimal to make the most, right?
Yeah, use the minimal for the max gains.
For the maximum gains, yeah. You try to reduce the amount you need, and you try to get the most out of that amount.
Yeah, exactly. So 10 by 10 is one full eco forest, right there.
Yeah,
10 by 10,
even like on 10 by 10 square, you can bananas, potatoes, all of that.
Wide,
inside there. In 10 by 10. Anything that shoots off keikis and kind of just keeps going, regenerative. Exactly. You can just. It just keeps fruiting, right?
Yeah.
So, where do you see Hawaii in 20 years? You think it'll ever be sovereign again? And what does sovereignty look like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a clear vision of what Hawaii will look like in 20 years, because I think that's a collective decision that we have to make together. Like, I can wish and dream all I like, but if there's no plans in place to really solidify and make possible those dreams, then there's no real vision. But I can say, I can speak to sovereignty. And the question about will we ever be politically sovereign again, I want to say always yes. Ku'e, amoloaku. But I also recognize that the Hawaiian word ea, which is a word that's used interchangeably with the word sovereignty, is more important. The ability to embody ea is more important than the English concept of sovereignty. Ea relates to our ability to really like breathe in the essence of fertile soil. Like to really be inspired by and sustained by our relationship to actual land and actual kai. Like, so many of us live close to the kai, or we live maybe 10-minute drive, but we don't go anymore. We don't go because we're busy. We don't make time. But the ea that is the foundation of sovereignty starts with reconnecting to āina and reconnecting to each other, and that's something that can happen today. Like people can take 5 minutes today to reconnect and be re-inspired by our āina aloha. I was thinking earlier when you asked me about the source of my inspiration and creativity, that when people think aloha āina, they think of like being arrested, and they think of like activism and protection, protect the land, kukia imauna, like that's all buzzwords associated to aloha āina. Āina aloha is like the preface for aloha āina, and so many people are dedicated to the protection of their place that they forget how to generate natural, abundant relationships to those places. Like, we want to protect Mauna Kea, but I can't tell you I can, but I can't. Some people can't tell you the first thing about what pu'u are up there, or like what Mauna Kea looks like when the sun is coming up. They don't have that personal, gut-wrenching relationship with specific land. People, they're like, oh, I'm from Puna. What natural resources are available in Puna? Some people can tell me, and other people cannot, and it's no shame.
The Puna Vai,
right?
It's
Puna
the
Vai.
natural springs of Puna.
Yeah, and
fresh water.
That's sometimes it's secret, but I'm like, but where is it? Can you tell me where?
We
not
cannot.
Right now. Not right now. That's
kind of
offline.
We cannot tell you that.
But You know what I mean, though? If you're gonna rep your āina, rep āina aloha. Like, rep the abundance of your place. Rep the knowledge that you have of your place, you know? And when we're looking at sovereignty, we have to do that every day, not just only depend on some external government to give us our land back. For what if you don't have connection to your āina? Because that's free and that can happen now, you know? So, I mean, and it doesn't take, you don't have to dedicate your whole life to farming overnight. Like, it starts with reconnecting your personal behavior to the frequency of our āina. So I'm thankful to talk about these things, and always is protection, but abundance is like really the source of that need, you know. So I really mahalo this opportunity to talk with you about these things. It's special to me.
Yeah,
so
mahalo for coming and talking.
Yeah.
What does an abundance mindset look like?
Oh, that sounds like something like Tony Robbins like would try to sell me. Like, abundance mindset.
Yeah.
$29.99. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I don't know, but abundance for me has been able to and I can't find my way to this sometimes. Like, I'm just so busy and so stressed out, I can't always find my way. But abundance for me looks like being able to wake up, and even though no more hot water, bruh, even though puka's in my roof and rats in my house, like I mean, I'm like, that's not my house, but it is. I mean, like, frick, humble things is, that's how it is sometimes, and we're doing the best we can. But for people who have that reality, no matter what your external circumstances look like, if you're able to, the question of like, what is abundance? Nothing is gonna stop you from going outside and feeling. There's this verse in Aloha Aina Meds, which is a really popular song that people like, that I redid based on Kumuhina and this old newspaper article. But this old newspaper article says, Ikeai kala he mea mehana, hanuwai ikea o ka aina. Like seen is the sun, a thing of warmth. Breathe in the sovereignty and the liberty of the land. And so that doesn't cost anything except our ability to get out of our minds and get outside, even for any amount of time. So the concept of an abundance mindset, it looks like getting out of your head and into the āina, even for just a moment, and things can change after that, you know. But I love that question, brother. Mahalo.
Tell us, what's the mo'olelo behind your moko?
Okay. That's the depths. The depths. No, but we can go there. Let's go there. Yeah, let's go there, because I think a lot of people, I forget that I have it sometimes, and people is just gawking. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Rubber neck, everything. Like, what is that? And then mostly it's like, kia ora. I'm like, bro, what? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not like, okay. People assume that it's like Maori, because Maori women have tattoos on their chin. Maori designs are pretty different than this actual design. They're just thinking chin tattoo, Maori. Like, that's all they think, you know. But I have a really interesting journey in my life. But I used to live this life of wanting to be like one flight attendant. I wanted to be like Disney Aulani girl, like live my life as one travel the world kind queen, you know. And in my quest to reconnect to my indigeneity and like what about me is Hawai'i, I had this dream, and it's called an Akaku. An Akaku is like a dream that you have when you're awake. It's like a type of vision, and I learned recently. I mean, I didn't know what this was when I was having them. There was no word. I didn't have a word for it. But I guess the short and concise version of this mo'olelo is that before I had these markings on my face, I didn't understand. I wasn't committed to this kuleana of malama āina and a'oi ka nui poe. Like, I wasn't committed to this role of teaching people, educating people on good ways to live, and also taking care of actual āina. Like, my Hawaiianness, like my journey to my Hawaiianness happened over time, but these markings solidify my commitment to that. And so now I cannot really go anywhere and just, I cannot just go anywhere and stink tuna on my way through like my life. I cannot go karaoke and then just hi and then drink my way into somebody's bed and wake up when I stay. You know, I cannot do that anymore because I have kuleana to these markings and to my community. And so I guess living and breathing every single day, I cannot forget the kuleana that I have. It's staring me back at my face. It's on my face. So some clarity around it is that, like, it's not about my face. It's not about how you look or what it is that the image that you're trying to portray about yourself. It's about what you're doing with your two hands, like how you're living, how you're walking, what you're doing for the betterment of your people. It's not really about your face at all. But so, I mean, that's the in and outs of it. And I'm thankful. I think it was a long process. My tutu, we talked about it. I spent some time preparing my family before I got it, and it was important to me who gave it to me. So some people are like, "Oh, did you do it traditionally?" That's like with the tap, like the tap kind of mail. And I think like kauhi is one of the words that they do. But no, mine was done with a gun. And ikaika mahi, who is pili mawa I keala mo'oku auhau o ka pili uhane. So like my tutu is the head pastor for our church in Hilo, and his papa was the head pastor for our church in Waimea. So we're connected through our mo'oku, like a spiritual lineage that we share. But it was important to me that it was him that did it. And if he did the tapping, maybe we could do the tapping. But whatever it was, he had to do it.
Right,
you know.
right.
So, and those are the tools he had in the moment. But yeah, I rarely get the opportunity to explain. I think people just assume that I was going through a rough patch and I ended up with this tattoo on my face. I don't know. But yeah, it comes with mean kuleana, like mean accountability in this life, and I hope to do it justice every day, and I hope to be a good representation of my God and my people as I walk everywhere I go. So yeah, mahalo for asking and for having me on here.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you would like to leave them with?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are struggling right now through financial hardship, through mental hardship and mental illness. Like there's a lot of stigma around not being okay and everybody pretending like we're okay, but we're not. And I think when we're looking at politics and policies and governance and government and all of these things that we talked about today, that's very outside, that's very on the scope of the outside. But I really hope that we can all figure out a way of how to be okay, like how to reconnect to the sources of our joy. Like we don't make enough time or space to identify what makes us happy, not what gets us by. Because for some people, cocaine is what gets them by. You know what I mean? Anything. For me, like one pack of cotton candy Peeps will get me by. The Easter kind of marshmallows.
Some furakake.
No, mamara. The lobster sensation from KTA is out of this world. But it's not about getting by. It's about what makes us feel joy again. What makes us feel like what makes us feel, for some people that's time with their ohana. Make the time, because without being well, we cannot serve anybody else. And I think that's something that people share often, but don't really do for themselves. And so I'm on this journey too of just taking it day by day and being more, spending more time in spaces of wellness, because I realize I cannot serve my community. I cannot even run for office. Running for office is a lot of work, and even that, we need to be well in order to do that. So my message to everybody is just that I hope that people start taking their wellness seriously and really understand that we cannot do anything for anybody else if ina'a ole pa'a ke kahua, if the foundation that we stand on to do this work is not solid and secure. So I mahalo you for giving me this opportunity to share my mana'o. I feel so cool. It's cool. I see all these really awesome people on your podcast. And I'm like, oh, sign me up, my brother. You know what I mean? Let me at them.
Yeah.
Super grateful. I also want to, I'm like, shout out to my mom, stuff right here. But for real, like really grateful to my family for really hanging in, my husband for just being here, supporting me through all the things. And I think I want to say that people should follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Kuulei Music.
Yeah.
I'm going to be posting more civic engagement tools there for people to get involved in a fun way, in a meaningful way. So hopefully people stay in touch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, mahalo.
Mahalo,
For
brother.
all that manao and ike. Okay. Puna Lunch Club out.
Puna Lunch Club is out. Back to Puna Eva.
Back to Panava.